Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live pregame show for Arkansas and Arizona in the Sweet 16 tonight in San Jose. I am John Neighbors alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon or your evening this evening, depending on when you're watching. A little different change of pace here, but we felt like it would be best to come out here to San Pedro Social here in San Jose, just about a half mile from the arena, and give you a little pregame action because last time I checked, guys, it's a pretty big game. It's a pretty important game that's happening tonight, 8:45 Central Time, 6:45 local time. I always ask the same question when I ask it again, guys. How are the vibes here on this Sweet 16 game day?
My vibes are great, man. There's nothing but air and opportunity between Arkansas and greatness. You know, it's going to be a beautiful night. Seriously, I'm excited for this, man. It is an awesome opportunity for the program in general. There's really no outcome tonight that could, leave a stain on this season. They've accomplished a lot. It's been a hell of a ride. We've had a blast with it, but it doesn't feel like it's supposed to be over yet. And they've got a great opportunity to cement the legacy of Darius Acuff, to shut the final haters up with John Calipari, and to put this program up even a notch from where it's been, which has been pretty darn high here over the course of the last several years. So I'm excited. I this little piggy went to the bar. This little piggy grabbed a beer. We got some Razorback fans up there at the bar who are filing in for this. We saw a bunch down the street. There's a different event going on for a bunch of Razorback fans. Maybe more here than I thought there were, but I'm excited about what we got going on. I cannot wait to get to the arena to watch this basketball game.
Yeah, man, we've had a lot of time to sit and think about this, a lot of time to prepare for this, and I could not be more excited. And I'm feeling everything you expect to feel on a big game day. Nervous, anxious, excited, scared, fired up, ready to run through a brick wall, all of those things. But this is what you want to feel like. This is what you think about all year long. You know, whenever your team is building the roster in the offseason, the reason you get so worked up is because you want to see if you have a team good enough to get to a moment like this. In a regular season situation, you lose a game. The reason you get so frustrated is because you're worried it's going to either prevent you from getting here or pain you whenever you get here, be a sign of things to come. And so today my goal is to try and be as present as I can and enjoy the moment because we don't get these every day. We don't get these every year even. And so I'm definitely going to be appreciative of that, and I'm just fired up to see how the pig performs tonight.
Listen, to say that the anxiety is kicking in for me is saying it to be lightly. But, like you said, Andrew, this is what you want to be in. Like, would I rather have this anxiety or would I rather be at home? Would I rather be stressed about the possibility of Arkansas going to an Elite Eight or would I rather be at home? I'd rather be stressed. I'd rather be nervous. I'd rather be jacked up. I'd rather have this roller coaster of emotions. I'd rather be sitting and looking at Twitter and getting mad at somebody who's saying Arkansas has no chance, but then being like, hey, let's just settle down, buddy, if anyone says Arkansas is going to win this game. This is what you want to be, and you cannot be in this position unless you're going to play a team like in Arizona. You cannot have a chance at winning it all unless you're going to play a team, a one seed, whatever you want to put it, like in Arizona. I mean, last time I checked, guys, I don't think anybody's won the national championship in the NCAA tournament that has just gone through a bunch of 15s and seeds and 14 seeds and 13 seeds. It's not that case. This is what you're here for, and this is what's going to be a proving ground for you that if anybody's doubting you, if anybody's hating on you, they may still, but this is going to silence so many critics, so many doubters of John Calipari, of Darius Acuff, of the Razorback program in general. And that's what makes me so amped up and excited is because, yes, it's nerve-wracking to think about the possibility that your season comes to an end tonight, but it's also an incredible feeling to be the question of what if we win and what that means to everybody involved. That's where the excitement comes in.
100%, man. I mean, we really are fortunate to continue to see the Razorbacks on this stage, and every time it's super, super exciting. And, listen, Arizona's very, very good, man. There's no doubt about it. They have been one of the best teams in the country, if not the best team in the country, really from start to finish this season. They've been as consistent as it gets. They're great on both sides of the ball. They have NBA talent, too. I mean, there's a reason why they're a one seed, a reason why they're favored in this basketball game, but don't let it get lost in the sauce here that this is some David versus Goliath matchup or that this is some situation where Arkansas is, a plucky Cinderella story like last year, even when they were a 10 seed. Arkansas is really, really good, too. They've got the best player in college basketball. They've got one of the best offenses in college basketball. They went through the SEC. They finished tied for second in that league. They won the SEC tournament. They've got 28 wins on the season. They were a 4 seed, and they're here exactly where they're supposed to be. This is the matchup when the brackets came out that we were supposed to have. And I can't wait to see the Razorbacks on this stage, man. It's a tall task. Of course it is. Like you said, you got to go through some big dogs to get to where you want to go. And I'm anxious to see how much progress this team has made from the last opportunity against one of the elite that they had, which kind of seemed like it might have been a wake-up call for them because they haven't lost since. They haven't been out rebounding since. They've done nothing but win since that point. I cannot wait to watch Arkansas on this stage again.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of people who are kind of underselling how big of a moment of this game is, but also how high level of basketball we are about to witness. And I mean that, like, honestly, the excellence on both sides in terms of the individual players that are going to be in this game, the coaches, the programs, the stories, the fan base is also, like, there's a lot to love here in this matchup from just a casual basketball fan standpoint. And I think whenever people, we do this game where we try to be smart and we try to think what we say, we try to say what we think is going to happen, and we think that's definitive. If you think Arizona is going to come into this game and beat Arkansas by 10 to 15, that means you think Arizona is going to accomplish something really impressive, because I think that would be, if you beat Arkansas comfortably in a situation like this, in a stage like this, that would be really impressive. And if you think Arkansas is going to get the job done, and I think you guys both said it well, if Arkansas gets the job done, there is no questioning this. There is no nitpicking and saying, well, they got a good path, or, well, that just things kind of played out.
Front court.
Right. If you beat a team like Arizona, who on paper doesn't really have weaknesses, their regular season, you look at their resume, there's not really much you can poke holes in. I think for Arkansas to rise to the occasion and win this game would be such an incredible feat. And I also think that a lot of people think Arizona's just going to kind of cruise in this matchup, at least nationally. I don't think people realize how special that means you think this Arizona team is if they're able to just kind of casually whip Arkansas's ass in a stage like this. Maybe they are that good, but the beauty of it is we get to find out tonight which one of these teams is going to kind of cement themselves as perhaps the team to beat in this tournament.
Now, I looked at it from, of course, Arkansas being in the tournament and having the success that they've had in this tournament. It's been awesome to see just like what they've done over the 5 of the last 6 years. But as I kind of tweeted out too, is like, listen, you had a time where you beat a number 1 seed Gonzaga. You had a time that you beat a number 1 seed Kansas the other year. You got a time that you beat the number 2 seed St. John's. You had a time where you were able to take care of business and do these things. So I know it's different years. I know it's different teams. But the idea that Arkansas fans should look at a 1 seed and just be so petrified, oh, man, it doesn't matter. You beat, like, Gonzaga was the number 1 overall seed when you beat them. They had the number 1 offense and the number 1 defense in the country. They had NBA draft picks. Like, that Gonzaga team you beat with a completely different team. I get it, but it's not this out of the realm, out of the crazy possibility that you go and beat a 1 seed and you do it in front of a crowd that's probably going to be more pro Arizona. Like, there's so many opportunities that you have, and this is an opportunity that you want. So I get if you're nervous and everything, but I also feel like, hey, you've been in situations like this before where you've come out on top, especially when it comes to going to the Elite Eight here in the Bay Area against a 1 seed like Arkansas is going to have tonight.
You know who's not talking about, oh, man, Arizona, it's going to be so difficult for Arkansas. Oh, wow, the front court, what are we going to do? Oh, how's the rebounding going to work out? Oh, wow, big underdogs, the Razorbacks. The Razorbacks aren't talking about that. We sat in the locker room and tried to get them to talk about it yesterday, and they weren't having it. These guys are coming together, and they're playing with a lot of confidence. And when you've got talented players like a Darius Acuff, like a Malik Thomas, guys who are hungry like a Billy Richmond, when you get them, you get all that mixed with winning a lot of games, you start feeling yourself a little bit, and you get on this stage, I'm not sensing that they're intimidated by anything that's going on over here. And that's the first step in all this, because sometimes people get a little bit too online and it gets in your head. Sometimes teams over scout a little bit where it's like, oh, wow, they've got a real advantage here. So we're going to have to do this and that and this and that. We're going to have to tweak this and change that. John Calipari's not doing any of that, man. Some people say that's a fault of his, to where, oh, he's not making enough adjustments or whatever. He is comfortable with who his team is. They understand their identity. We're going to play fast. We're going to play above the rim, and we're going to outscore people. And that's exactly what they're going to try to do in this basketball game. And all you really need them to do beyond that is level up in the toughness department, compete on the glass, and they're going to be okay. I think they're going to be right in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think people are very aware of Arizona's strengths and their, what their path to victory looks like. And I think most people nationally kind of view this as, oh, this is a really good Arizona team. Can Darius Acuff carry Arkansas to a win? Which very well may be what we see happen here. But I think my favorite part about this matchup is how many different pieces on both of these teams that can completely transform how we look at this matchup, transform the complexion of this basketball game. I mean, obviously in the backcourts, Braden Burries, a really high-level player that's probably a first-round pick, maybe Arizona's best player over the Big 12 Player of the Year. Obviously, Darius Acuff is who he is. Malik Thomas is one of the best scorers left in this tournament. He's a potential first-round pick as well. Like, that's a guy who can completely change this entire basketball game. And you look at a lot of the role players for each guy, so to speak, Koa Pete, Malik Ewan, Trevin Brazil, Krivas, Billy, all of those guys kind of average around the same level of points, rebounds, like their production's in the same kind of range. All of those guys have the capability of kind of rising to the occasion and taking over this game in a certain way for a given moment, given possession. And so I think that's what's cool about this matchup is just seeing which of these guys are going to rise to the occasion. The people who act like this is such a foregone conclusion, definitive outcome, really are underselling how valuable some of these role guys are and how dominant they can be and how much they can change this matchup on both sides, because Arkansas and Arizona both have those kind of guys.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you look at matchups all day long. You can, look at who's got what. And, you mentioned, Curtis, the fact that everybody's saying, oh, well, Arkansas, the size that they're going up against in Arizona reminds me of the Florida game. It's like, okay, that Florida game, I feel like is everyone's just one center point of reference for Arkansas. I was like, who else beat Florida? Vanderbilt. You're telling me, Vanderbilt knew how to handle the size.
Auburn.
But yeah, Auburn. They know how to handle the size.
Missouri. I can keep going.
All those teams, they knew how to handle the size.
Can't go that far.
Yeah. But Arkansas, they can't handle Florida size. So therefore, they can't handle Arizona size. It's like, dude, I get it. You look at matchups, you try to look at it, you try to dissect it and everything. But this is the NCAA tournament. This is postseason. It's like any given day. You could have a team get hot from three. You can have a team shoot terribly from the field. They can miss free throws. They could have their clutch player not play well. They could have a guy get banked. Like, there's just so many factors that play into this. And it's kind of frustrating in a way. We've been talking about it all day, of anybody out there nationally or whatever that's looking at this game and saying, well, Arkansas don't really like their chances because why? Well, size. It's like, okay, let's maybe go a little bit more into that. Like, why don't you look at the times that Arkansas did beat some teams with size? Do those not count? It just seems like sometimes people get so simplistic about what they think in like a game like this, instead of looking at it from the way of like, hey, that's maybe true. Maybe it's a tough matchup, but Arkansas has Darius Acuff. Arkansas has these guys. Arkansas has that guy. They've beaten these teams before. I just think it's just kind of frustrating that sometimes people just put it in such a simplistic way.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. And when you got a week to kind of nitpick the matchups, who has an advantage, who has a disadvantage, you're going to zero in on certain things. And yes, the weakness for Arkansas this season has been their interior defense, defending around the rim. Yeah. We know that. That's not a secret. It's been a thing the entire season. I think the rebounding thing is a little bit overblown for people. Arkansas is not a great rebounding team. They're certainly not bad. They're middle of the pack. They've out-rebounded a lot of big and physical teams this season. But it's getting scored on around the paint. Some of that's because the guards have trouble at times keeping guys in front. Other times because they dump it inside, and you have more finesse and athletic bigs as opposed to physical ones. We get that, right? That doesn't mean it's an automatic reason for Arkansas to lose the basketball game, because they've been winning despite that all season long. So it's kind of something they've been able to overcome. It just means that they have maybe a smaller margin for error, and they got to do all the other things that have gotten them to this point at a high level. They're going to have to knock down some threes. They were second in the SEC in three-point defense. I know Arizona doesn't shoot a lot of them. Well, you certainly can't have them making 9 or 10 on you in this basketball game tonight. You can't let those bigs and their physicality get you in foul trouble. That's more. I'm going to have my eyes on the fouls more than I'm going to have it on points in the paint, because they give those up anyway, and they still win basketball games. So Arkansas has to stay true to its identity. They've got to compete on the glass. They got to stay out of foul trouble. But this is not some gargantuan task here. No. And with all credit to Arizona, because they're terrific, man. And we saw them up close and in person yesterday. They are huge, not from a height standpoint necessarily. I mean, Krivas is 7'2", but the other guys, they look like it's kind of what we were saying, a bunch of 6'8" Nick Pringles.
Bunch of edge rushers.
Yeah, edge rushers, yeah. They could be first-round NFL draft picks if they chose a different path. They're going to be big, strong dudes. They're going to try to push Arkansas under the rim, so they're going to have to get tough in there and get physical. They're going to have to give the type of effort, the front court guys, that they did against Tennessee. That's the game I keep coming back to. I know it was at home. I know it was a while back, but I thought Arkansas really, really leveled up from a physicality standpoint in that game and took the fight to Tennessee and wound up winning that one. And it took Trevin Brazil dragging his carcass across the floor at the end because he was so tired. That's what you got to do at this stage, man. So I'm anxious to see if they man up and get it done.
Yeah, think about what we expect this game to be. Like, high scoring. Both teams can score 85, 90 points. Both teams average right around that. So if you're trying to predict a final score, which I'm sure a lot of people are doing, it's probably going to be somewhere in that 92, 86 range. Well, and think about what that means for this game. That means a lot of guys on both sides are going to make some big plays. Arizona's probably going to be able to get the ball inside and score over Arkansas's front court. They're probably even going to knock down a few threes. They're probably going to get to the free throw line a few times. Arkansas is also going to have to hold up their end of the bargain. Their scorers are going to have to do things. But I think a lot of times we get into these matchups, like you guys said, and you're like, oh, we've got to stop this guy. We've got to shut down this guy. And, oh, we've got to shut down this guy. And then our guys, it's like there's a lot of different paths to victories, like you said. And I think you guys said it well, that you can't try and mimic and try and formulate yourself to what that other team is. You just have to play your game. And I think Cal does a really good job of having that messaging to the team of like, listen, don't get discouraged if those guys make plays. They're really good. They're going to make plays. If that's what you came into this game thinking wasn't going to happen, then you're going to get discouraged really quickly. Arkansas is just going to kind of keep playing their game, keep being who they are. And then like Cal tells the team, keep playing, see if they can break, see if our Arizona can handle a close game against you down the stretch.
So we're here in San Jose, of course, getting ready for the Sweet 16 tonight here at San Pedro Social. Appreciate them opening their doors to let us do this because we all like doing on location. Shout out to my guy, Matt Besser. Comes in over here, comedian himself. Appreciate you, my man. We got some Razorback fans that are starting to filter in, too. People are pretty excited about it, man. People are excited about this and excited to get it going. And I know we'll continue to talk about it, get to some of your chats, get into some of the craziness going on right now. But first, want to remind everybody that here on Inside Arkansas Live, one of our great sponsors is OZK Insurance. It's the official insurance company of us here at Inside Arkansas. One thing that really sets OZK Insurance apart is that they're the independent insurance agency. That means that they're not just tied to one company. There are a multitude of A-rated carriers that find the best coverage for you and as well as the price. And now they've paired that with something that you actually usually would love to have, but not many people do. It's a full service and mobile app. With the OZK Insurance app, you can see all of your policies under one roof, home, auto, whatever you have. Plus you can pay the bills, request roadside assistance, file claims, request policy changes, or even get new quotes, all from the easiness and convenience of your phone. So you get the best part of an independent agent, choice, flexibility, and real people, as well as the convenience of modern technology. And if you're tired of being stuck with one carrier or chasing down paperwork, go to ozkinsurance.com or search OZK Insurance in the App Store or Google Play Store. Local agency, national level options, one powerful app. That is OZK Insurance. So, but also appreciate Bet SARACEN for being our official title sponsor out here. The line's been moving a little bit. I think it opened up as double digits. Arkansas now, I think, got down to a 7.5. Now it's going to move back to an 8.5. And I did some other, some research, guys, some stats. While Cal was at Kentucky, the largest margin of defeat he had was 7 points. He did that twice. The average of his margin of defeat, whenever he lost in the NCAA tournament, which wasn't often, ended up being around 4.5 to 5 points per game for those games being in overtime. Why did I bring that up? Well, it goes to the point of like, could tonight Arkansas, just play horrible and get beat badly? Of course, anything can happen. But it also, once again, shows that anybody that talks about Cal in the tournament, Cal can't do this, Cal can't. Cal has shown that like getting embarrassed or getting, may lose to a lower seed, but getting like just housed is not something that happens to him and with his teams. And that's why tonight, not saying Arkansas for sure guaranteed win, but I just have a hard time believing that Cal's not going to have these boys ready after all this rest and everything to compete in this game against a really good Arizona team.
100%. Yeah, I mean, they're ready. They're going to be ready when they get out there. Arizona will be too. I mean, they've been, again, super, super consistent all season long. It's probably one of the worst games they played the other day against Utah State. They still wound up winning by double digits over there. But, no, I'm with you, man. There's a pathway to Arizona getting this done and getting it done comfortably, which is, I think, what a lot of people expect. If you go look throughout the course of the season, they've done that quite a bit. My thought process is, though, when you get to this stage, the teams are so good that the margin is just not really going to be there as much as you might expect. Now, sometimes Cinderellas get through and you wind up seeing blowouts and everything like that. But I really do get the sense that these are just two really, really good basketball teams who have a lot of talent, a lot of really good players, two offenses that are probably going to be hard to stop. And I think we're going to be in for a close one. And it's not all I ask for. I ask for a win. That would be great. But I would just love to see this be one of those games where you just get it to winning time, man. Get it to the final few minutes. You got Darius Acuff for Arkansas. You got Jaden Bradley, who's a tremendous closer for Arizona. And just seeing those guys go back and forth, possession to possession, kind of like what happened with Acuff and Rob Martin, but on a much, much higher level and higher scale. Sign me up for what that would feel like and the drama and the nerves and everything that comes along with that. It seems like one of the common themes when Arkansas has lost some games this season is it gets away from them early. They have that lull, in the middle of the first half where they go brain dead for like 2 minutes, and all of a sudden somebody puts a 12-0 run on you, a 15-2 run on you. We saw it against Duke. It happened a little bit later, but Arkansas was able to overcome that some. But like I remember the Houston game, the Auburn game, Florida, it was the same thing where it got away from them quick. It seems like whenever Arkansas gets the game into the second half and they're right there within striking distance, it's game on, man. It usually gets away from them early if it's going to.
Yeah, every now and then, John Neighbors just has this simplistic wisdom that completely changes the way that I view a matchup. But we're sitting at dinner last night, and he's like, when have you ever seen a John Calipari team just get completely run off the floor in the NCAA tournament? And ever since he said it, and then we kind of looked at the numbers and found out, no, it really actually hasn't happened. I haven't stopped thinking about that. And you're 100% right that if Arkansas is going to be completely overmatched and not ready for this moment and not able to match up with Arizona, we will know pretty early. All of those games, the Houston game, they got down by 20 in the first half. Georgia, Auburn, both of those games, you could tell right away they went into halftime with a double-digit deficit. The Florida game, and that wasn't even that long ago, we found out right away. And so I'm with you that I feel like the further and further you get into the game, the closer it is. I don't know if it necessarily favors Arkansas, but with the way that Darius Acuff is playing and the way that he can close a game, I just feel like that's kind of going to be something that Arizona is going to want to nip in the bud early. And so I think it could be a situation where Arizona is going to come out with their best shot, knowing, hey, we can maybe break these guys in the first half. What's that going to look like in the second half if Arkansas doesn't break? I think it's a fascinating kind of mental battle that's going to be going on. And we've talked a lot about pressure because everyone feels pressure in this tournament, no matter what. It's not like Arkansas is going into this just loosey-goosey with nobody caring whether they win or lose. Yeah. There's a lot of pressure. But Arizona has that pressure from their own fan base. Now maybe your coach is being involved in, is he really on board with us? Is he going to North Carolina? Can we get over this Sweet 16 hump? I was telling Curtis the other day in the elevator, they're like, it's not a real thing. If Arizona loses today, it's not going to be because there's some proverbial wall in front of the Sweet 16 that they just can't get over. But mentally, you kind of do feel that way in those moments. Same with Arkansas and Omaha. There's not actually someone with a voodoo doll poking it, making Arkansas lose in the College World Series. But it does feel that way in those moments, and that pressure can certainly mount on you. Would love to see Arkansas be able to keep in striking distance and put that game pressure on Arizona, see if they can carry it for 40 minutes.
Well, and to your point, too, and I've brought this phrase up, and thank you for the words of thing I say that whatever you said that I said that I had.
Good, John. I got to give you your credit.
Yeah, listen, man, I appreciate it. It doesn't happen often. But I will say that I've talked about this team being the best weathering the storm type of team. Like it just, and I know having a player like Darius Acuff can just be an end runner for another team because he buries a three in your eye or something. But that's where it's like Arkansas, I know like how great they are in transition, how great they are at just getting out and having different ways to score and all of that. But it's like, that they say it's a game of runs. Arizona is going to get theirs. Arizona is going to be able to go on a little run themselves if Arkansas. They're going to answer it. But that's what makes me feel so comfortable and confident of knowing, like I'm not bringing up any specific teams, but there have been some teams that maybe gave up a 16-0 run in the NCAA tournament, or, these things are a 22-4 run, whatever it is. Like Arkansas is just one of those teams to where if things get a little crazy, things start getting, madness and all that, you don't worry about them just laying over and dying. You don't worry about them having no answer for whatever's going on where they crap their pants and they don't know what to do. It's like anytime that the other team, regardless how good they are, they start going on a run, Arkansas always does a great job of handling that and weathering that storm. And they've done it in the tournament so far because High Point kind of did that a little bit. Even Hawaii went on a little bit of a run, but they always answer and stop it and say, hey, enough of that nonsense. Let's get back to the way the game should be played.
I think it's because they've got a pair of stoppers on both ends of the floor. Darius Acuff and Malik Thomas are run stoppers offensively because they can get you a bucket. They can feel that pressure. They can feel when things are getting away from them a little bit or maybe starting to spiral. One of those guys is going to score for you. And say what you want about Arkansas's defense, but on that end of the floor, what have been the momentum shifting things that Arkansas does? Billy Richmond makes a play out there because he creates so much chaos on the defensive end, or Trevin Brazile comes up with a big block and boom, next thing you know, transition and it's a bucket. And that can become a 6-0 run real quick to kind of smooth things over. I'll also say, again, like say what you want about John Calipari, man, but he has done a really good job, of sensing when to call a timeout. I wish he would have called one against High Point when Acuff was sitting at the scores table for like 8 minutes of basketball player or whatever. But in that game in the second half, it was a little bit of a flurry. You had a couple turnovers. Next thing you know, High Point's up 4, and you're thinking, dang, is this really going to happen? Is it going to get away from him? Called a timeout, settled in. You come back out, back-to-back threes. Arkansas is right back in control. So he's kind of got a feel for being able to get these guys calm, cool, and collected when you can sense things are starting to pile up on them.
You know what you see happen a lot of times in blowouts? Role players randomly take a ton of shots. I can think of a few games in the Muss era where Arkansas gets blown out and you have a little bit of a weird identity crisis, and all of a sudden Devo has 28 shot attempts. And you're like, well, how the hell did that happen? Well, because people don't understand their roles. And I think that's one of Arkansas's best traits as a team is they have a very firm understanding of what each guy is being asked to do. Someone like Billy Richmond, he knows we're in the last 4 minutes. I haven't had a steal all day. I got to find a way to get my hands on that basketball. That's his role on this team. Trevin Brazil will shoot the open three when it's there. He'll catch the lob dunk when it's there. He'll protect the rim. That's his role. I think when you're playing with someone like Darius Acuff, who you just kind of know, it's not like you get to the final 4 minutes and you're like, all right, Darius, carry us now. I'm sure these guys don't necessarily, someone like Malik Thomas definitely doesn't view it that way. But I think if you're a role player for Arkansas, that has to give you a little bit of extra confidence where it's like the quota of what you're going to have to meet to get Darius Acuff to within striking distance isn't that high. You just have to be you and do what you do. And I think John Calipari, who, as we know, took every single individual player this week, had individual meetings with them, which may not sound like the end of the world. That's usually the type of thing you do after the season. He went ahead and met with these guys individually just to make sure they're all feeling good about themselves, make sure they all completely understand the task at hand. And I think when you play with a guy like Darius Acuff, it almost gives you an extra sense of armor if you're a role guy, where it's like, man, I don't have to shoot us back into this game. I don't have to take 15 shots. I just have to play with insane effort here. And I think a lot of our guys on this Razorback roster are ready to do that, including Nick Pringle.
Yeah, and I tell you what, we'll get to your chats. We'll get to some of the other things going on here on the Inside Arkansas pregame show presented by Bet Saracen. We're live here from the San Pedro Social. Almost said it backwards there, but the San Pedro Social here in San Jose. But want to remind everybody that our Alumni Hall question of the day is presented, of course, by Alumni Hall. It's the ultimate Razorback shopping experience. Anytime that you need the highest end Razorback gear, all the best Razorback gear. Doesn't matter if it's Razorback polo shirts, Razorback jerseys, Razorback hats, Razorback whatever it is, they have it with Alumni Hall. You can check them out, of course, in store at 3417 North College Avenue, or you can shop them online at InsideArkansas.com/Alumni Hall. And they have everything you could possibly want. In fact, if there's something that you see, you're like, hey, I want that something or whatever, it's got a Razorback on it. Well, it's probably got it from Alumni Hall. And if you want it and you don't see it anywhere, probably because it doesn't exist because of all the great apparel items that they have. But you can also use that code InsideAR20 for 20% off your purchase. It's Alumni Hall, the ultimate Razorback shopping experience. And guys, the question was simply, do you think Arkansas wins against Arizona tonight in the Sweet 16? Polling the very, very optimistic Razorback fans. Of course, we always know sometimes these polls can also get hijacked by opposing fan base or whatever it may be, or it could just be Twitter's on one. But either way, 57% say yes. 44% or 43, whatever it is, says no. So do you think that's about fair for fans, for Razorback fans, assuming that they voted right?
For Razorback fans, if you're scared, go to church, man.
That's right.
Like, what are we doing? Like, are you going to feel better about a loss if you say, well, yeah, it's probably going to happen? Hell no, man. You got to believe in something. We're at that stage of the year where you just got to believe blindly, even if you feel like you don't have a reason to. But yeah, again, man, it's not like it's this crazy, feat that they would have to do here. Arizona's awesome, but you got a really good team too. This is not, somebody coming out of the the Big South, and playing Arizona in a Sweet 16 game. I would like to see a little bit more confidence from fans. Respect your opponent. We all do. We've been talking about how good Arizona is. We get it, but if you're voting on these polls, you got to run the numbers up, man. What are we talking about here?
Call me crazy. I think 57%, maybe a little higher, maybe 60, 65 is like the perfect range. Because if you had 100%, well, that's just kind of outrageous delusion where it's like you think you're about to just waltz into a matchup.
Fans are supposed to do, man.
No, but that's my point, is that if you look at just the actual, like the betting markets and all the nerds and algorithms that do stuff like this, they would have Arkansas at kind of in that 30, 35% chance to win. The number for Arkansas fans should be much higher than that. You're over 50%. I think your fan base is well within their rights to kind of feel like they have a chance. You got two great teams here. Arkansas fans think they're going to win. That makes sense to me, and I think that the margin is about where it probably needs to be.
Yeah, no, and that's kind of like what our guy Matt said here is, hey, that should be 100%, because as a fan, why are you here if you don't think you can win? Like, I think it was the Nolan Richardson video. I've got who tweets it all the time. That's like, it's the NCAA tournament. If you don't think you win it, you can win it, you shouldn't be in it. Like, that's the thing. Is like, you should feel like you should win and that you can win and that you will win. and again, what are you going to get out of it if you end up losing? You're like, well, at least I was right on that poll question that they asked. It's like, that's not going to get you anything. So I'm with you. I understand the nervousness. I understand the respect to the opponent, like you talked about. But if you're a Razorback fan, why do you have John Calipari as your head coach? Why do you have Darius Acuff as the best player in the country? Why do you have all these things if you don't believe you can go all the way with this team and go to Indianapolis and go to a Final Four? Why not?
Is there a poll like this out there? I wonder for Arizona fans.
I would love to find
I wonder what it
Yeah.
would look like for them. I'm sure the ratio would be higher because they are the favorite in this basketball game, obviously. But at the end of the day, there's a little bit of consternation on that side too because of Tommy Lloyd's inability to get them out of the Sweet 16. Some of it is they were in situations like Arkansas is where they ran into a 1 seed and they lost the game. Other times they lost to Princeton in the first round when they were expected to do big things. But there's been a lot of conversation. I've seen that on Twitter, some of the radio shows I've gone on where it's kind of like we feel really good about this team, but this always happens. It's battered Arizona syndrome, just like we have battered Hog syndrome. I would be curious to see what a poll from Arizona fans would look like.
Oh, and it's very interesting. We were talking about earlier today off camera that it's not that we are going into this game thinking there is no possible path to Arkansas losing. We understand that's a possibility. We're just more excited about the possibility that Arkansas could do something special here. And I think it's always a dangerous spot as a fan base where you kind of go in thinking you're invincible. I think there's a lot of Arizona fans who feel that way. And I think there's also a lot that feel that pressure. And I think for this Arizona basketball team, the actual players who are going to have to play in this game, they haven't really lost much this year. They've lost 2 games. They don't even really remember what that feels like. If they feel close to that in this NCAA tournament, how will they respond to that? Arkansas has had their ass whipped a few times. They know exactly what it feels like. They had their ass whipped 3 weeks ago. They know exactly what that feels like, what not to do, and how to manage that, how to respond to that, how to bounce back. I think that it's not like Arkansas is better because they've lost a few games, but I think that gives Arkansas a little bit of armor going in this matchup of you kind of know, hey, our opponent's going to make plays. They're really good. There's no doubt about whether or not they can beat us, but we know we can beat them as well. And the important thing is here, everything we're talking about means absolutely zilch. You go inside that locker room, those dudes fully, firmly believe they're going to win the game, which sounds obvious. You would think every team in the NCAA tournament goes in with the locker room 100% knowing they're going to win the game. It's not the case. You know this being around high-level basketball. Like there are times you go into that opposing gym and you're like, I don't know, man. I just don't like the way this lines up. You walk inside that Arkansas locker room, they look at you like you're freaking crazy. If you suggest that anyone thinks they're going to lose this game, that's how they should feel for sure.
Yeah, and if they feel that way, I think fans should feel that way as well. We'll get to your chats, folks, but I want to remind everybody that Gracie Frizzell of Collier & Associates is our official real estate expert here at Inside Arkansas. Where she not only is she officially licensed in both Arkansas and in Oklahoma, she's also here to take care of all of your real estate needs. Whether you're looking for an investment property, a game day getaway investment, maybe a land investment, maybe even just a new home, Gracie's your trusted guide from start to finish. You can give her a call or a text today at 501-690-3868 for questions on all things real estate. Or you can check her out on Instagram at Gracie Frizz. It's Gracie Frizzell of Collier & Associates, the official real estate expert of us here at Inside Arkansas. All right, so getting to some of your chats, we all know the rules. Super chats get read first. I would hit the button, but it's too far away from my reach. But shout out to Crypto Hog for the super chat. $49.99 says, let's go WPS.
I like
Love
this.
it. Love it. That's good energy.
Yep.
We need more of that.
We appreciate you, Crypto Hog. He's dialed in.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. That's how the way everybody should be like right now. Lane, once again, he just comes into before the show starts and throws a super chat, but we appreciate it. Says, Curtis, forget the huge game tonight against Arizona. How about those Cardinals? A wise guy once said, I'm sure this will go perfectly fine with absolutely zero issues whatsoever.
Yeah, how about those Cardinals? I have no idea what they did today, but how about them?
Yeah.
Opening day, I think.
I hope by that chat he's like they won, at least. So
one of about 40 wins incoming this season. So.
Today was a reminder why being on the West Coast for sports has to just be absolute hell.
Oh my
like
goodness!
10 o'clock,
bro,
we're having some brunch. We're having a pastry and a coffee, and there's baseball being played. Paul Skeens was out of the game before we could even get to noon. It was crazy.
Yeah, that is wild. Shout out to Cody for being a member here for 8 months. He says, we can just get to the final 2 minutes with the tied or one possession game. I trust we win. Leak, Acuff, Arkansas in general. I trust the clutch factor, which I know we've been talking about. And that's the one thing that, I've been feeling great about, man. It's kind of like against High Point. If you get to that 2-minute spot and you have the ball in your hands and it's Darius Acuff, I'm like, something special is about to happen. Like he's going to watch it. He's either going to hit a three, get a layup, get to the foul line, whatever it is, but he's going to make a play. there's nothing about this team that makes me feel like they're mentally weak in the clutch moments in any regard, especially when you have someone like Darius Acuff.
Yeah, I mean, he's a killer, dude. He's got the ultimate confidence. He's got the right demeanor for moments like this. Don't sleep on Trevin Brazil, the closer, either, man.
Yeah, he does it too.
That dude has hit multiple dagger threes in huge spots throughout the course of the season. If you get down to, the final play, final possession situation, hey, I'm all for Acuff pulling up a mid-range contested by 6 different Arizona hands. But if they don't pay attention to TB, Acuff will find him, and he has knocked down some huge shots this season.
Doesn't Malik Thomas feel like he was built in a lab to hit a huge shot in a huge moment in the NCAA tournament game?
Yes.
I think there's a lot of guys on this Razorback roster who can get you, but I definitely think Arizona, they can say whatever they want. They do not want to get to the final 4 minutes in a tie game and go bucket for bucket with Darius Acuff. If this turns into a genital measuring contest, I just don't think that's necessarily – not saying that Arizona couldn't beat Arkansas in that circumstance. They've got guys that can go get a bucket. I think they would rather this game just be played over the course of 40 minutes and maybe we just get our possessions. We beat you on the boards and we kind of beat you that way. I don't think they want this game to turn into a close bucket for bucket down the stretch. I think they're very capable of winning that, but I don't think that's what they want.
Yeah, it's almost like, they talked about the Tiger factor in golf. Anytime Tiger started rolling on a Saturday or on a Sunday,
yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, here comes Tiger. It's kind of the same thing with the Acuff deal. It's like, oh, do not let Arkansas have that guy the ball in his hands and the game's still in doubt at the end of the game. Like, just don't do it, because they know it's like they know who's getting the ball and it doesn't matter. Every player, every team that has gone up against Arkansas in those moments knows who's getting the ball, and it hasn't mattered. He still made play after play after play. But yeah, same thing with Trevin Brazil too. It's like you got some guys that have some ice in their veins on this team. That's big in the NCAA tournament. Shout out to Heartbroken Offer Super Chat. I appreciate it. Goes, one way or another, I'm crying tonight. It's fair. It's a fair thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll accept it.
I've already shed tears today, so I've already reached my quota a little bit. I'll probably, if they win, I'll almost certainly cry tonight.
Yo, dude, listen.
I don't think I would cry over a loss. Not that it wouldn't make me feel emotional, but it's like, I don't know. My tears these days are more joyous tears.
Well, it'll be joyous tears for me. I'm not going to cry sad tears unless it's anything like what happened in Omaha. That was pretty rough.
So happy tissues.
But happy tissues will be used for that case, because I know me, and I know what it means, and I know what it can happen, and it's not going to be over. Good job's not finished, but man, it'll just feel good to kind of get that one and get the one to kind of shut up everybody.
Shout out to this kid that just keeps waving.
Yeah, that kid's awesome. Yeah, I love that kid.
I'm
Yes.
I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's what Matt Besser saying. He's like, UConn or Texas Tech. Like, those are brutal losses, but hey, it's a matter of, did you play well? That's the thing. He's like, even if you lose, and no one wants that, but it's like, I just don't have the blown 16-point leads. Don't get crushed and embarrassed. Just play really well and play to the end and do your job. Man.
I got to be honest, boys. I'm not crying for beating Arizona in the Sweet 16.
See, what always gets me,
That's fair.
What always gets me is if Bobby Portis puts out a tweet about how proud he is of the Razorbacks, that's going to get me. If Muss is like, hey, huge for the Hogs or whatever, when I see the Hogs supporting Hogs around the globe, so it always fires me up.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm the guy that, cried after Arkansas football beat Tennessee when they were number 4. So it's like my threshold of shedding tears is pretty low.
Tears in 7 and 6 football seasons. Yes. I think going to the Elite 8, everybody acted like going to the Elite 8 is just no big deal. It's not about going to the Elite 8. It's about how proud you are of the program and how proud of the statement they make, which I think is very in play tonight.
Yeah, proud of the pig, but
I'll save it for the Final Four.
Okay, that's fair. Listen, I'll gladly watch Curtis cry when they go to the Final Four. So
I will also say it's not like we're going to make a decision where we're going to be like, hey, let's
get
cry
together
today.
and cry. Yeah, just
too much estrogen right now. Let's move on.
JP, so appreciate Super Chat, man. He's like, we were blessed with an absolutely amazing, unforgettable season, fellas. Love this team, man. Ready to strut into the Elite 8. Thanks for keeping me in the know as always. Inside Arkansas. You're welcome, man. Thanks, JP.
Yeah, JP's definitely going to be turkey strutting tonight.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be a lot of that going on. We already read that one. I think there was another Super Chat that I missed out. But, hey, how about this? Gracie Frizzell. Our own residential real estate expert. She says, I think Hogs have finally learned how to win. You can have a great team, but if you don't know how to win games, you won't. I think Hogs finally figured it out, starting with Cal. So
this is a high-level basketball mind this is coming from. So better take that for what it's worth, which is a lot.
How many times has Cal said that? He's trying to teach these guys how to win. Remember last year was all about dragging them across the finish line. He hasn't said that as much this year, but there is something to be said for just figuring it out, especially when you're led by freshmen. The way that Arkansas is.
And to your point, and I think you walked in this morning, Curtis, when I was watching when Arkansas beat Kansas and to go to the Sweet 16, and Devo Davis was crying afterwards. And if you remember what he said when he's crying, he's like, "What got you emotional?" He's like, "We figured it out." It's like, we figured out how to win. We figured out how to do this. We figured out how to make that happen. And for Arkansas right now, it's like they've kind of figured it out. And you're hoping that it keeps going there too. Shout out to Noah for the super chat. Appreciate you, man. It goes, special players make magic happen. The curse is lifted. Hogs by 90. Woo, damn pig. So I like it. I like that too. So
what curse specifically is this a reference to?
I don't know. I think it's just something you say.
Like going to the Final Four is the curse?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like I said, it's just the curse. The curse has been lifted. It's just whatever was bothering them that day. The curse has been lifted for them. So also, like this from Kiko Hadar's Burner. Awesome. It says, "Don't be satisfied because we ain't done."
Beautiful profile picture there, man.
Yeah,
love that.
What was that from again? Was that just from one of the streams?
Just Curtis being a happy boy. That's all it is.
Yeah. Hickory Hawk says, "Arizona just gonna be Izona after tonight. Battle for the AR."
I like that.
Yep.
Can they just be AZ like they're supposed to be?
Yeah, that's what they need to stick with, at least. All right, listen. Michelle just says, "Wes just woke up in time for the intro dance."
Good.
Yeah,
good. Glad to hear he slept some.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I get a lot of text messages at the wee hours from the wife, just reminding me that while I'm not home, the kid doesn't sleep.
Oh man, wow. I guess I'm wondering, is it the intro that wakes him up? Like he's like,
gets him going.
Yeah, gets him going. Gets the people going.
Sure.
Yeah. Anthony says, y'all seen Jordan Smith and John Wall together, brung his awards.
Yeah, John Wall brought him the Naismith thing.
That's awesome.
Like pulled up on him.
Pig supporting
pretty
pig
cool.
right there, man.
Yeah. Man, I don't know how I feel about this. Lou Pig Suey says, "Woo Pig Suey from Lexington, Kentucky. Go Hogs."
I'll accept that.
I'll accept it because I feel like this might just be a weird circumstance where he happens to live in Lexington. Like, I doubt he's a Cal fan that is now a Woo Pig Suey guy.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
but you can clarify for us if you want.
Let's say we've had some people to be like that here recently. So shout out to Rev DL Young, says, "You guys are top notch. And as a born and raised Hog fan, you guys make me very proud in the representation of the brand. Also, as a music guy, your intro couldn't be better. By far the best player."
So take that.
Like
that
that.
Olds.
Yeah.
Even the Rev likes this one. But that was a very sweet comment. I
Yeah, it's
appreciated
nice.
that.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, shout out to Gib for the for intro music, man. It's awesome. It's awesome. Tamara said, "John, you're on channel 11 right now in front of the SAP Center." Yeah.
Yeah, so she said she saw Curtis there earlier, too.
Yeah, me and Curtis over there being a big time, I don't even know, I guess TV journalist or reporters or whatever.
Stars,
yeah.
Movie
There we go.
star, I think, is the term
That's
you're looking
true.
for.
Yeah. Listen, if there's a camera, we're going to find it and we're going to be on it. But yeah.
Two places at once is crazy.
I know. It's what we do. It's just what we do here. Shout out to Logan for Super Chat. Appreciate it. Goes, A-Cup legacy game tonight, boys. Is there a team in the Big 12 that runs like Arkansas? Question mark. Woo pig.
I'm sure there is. The Big 12 is a better league than the SEC this year. I see, because listen, I'll defend Arkansas fans to the death here, but I've seen a lot of people arguing with this Arizona guy, talking about how Arizona hasn't played a tough schedule, and it's like, what the hell are you talking about?
I think Arkansas's got a real chance to, maybe present a challenge to Arizona that they haven't seen, but it's not going to be because Arizona didn't play a bunch of really good teams and didn't beat a ton of really good teams. In fact, they beat teams that whipped Arkansas's ass. They've done that this year. I think if Arkansas wins, again, we don't have to knock down Arizona to give ourselves a chance to win. I think it's possible that Arizona could be very good and that Arkansas could just be better tonight.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. We just got about 15 or so minutes here, folks, as we're doing a little pregame show action, getting you ready for Arkansas and Arizona at the SAP Center, at the SAP Center.
Hey, Coach Z's locked into it, though. He's committed to it.
He's committed to the best.
Tremont March alert.
Yeah, Tremont. Oh, yeah. So we got Purdue and Texas going on right now. I wonder who the Razorback fans are rooting for.
Arkansas will run either one of those teams off the floor, man.
Yeah.
Winner of this game goes to the Final Four.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Both of the games that we covered in Portland, you could feel it in the arena, right? Because we played Hawaii right after High Point pulled off their win against Wisconsin, and you just kind of felt, you're like, that's a good omen that the upset just happened, so maybe we're not going to get upset. Same thing with the High Point game. Right before it, Texas had just knocked off whoever it was, Gonzaga or whoever it was.
Yeah.
And you just kind of felt like, okay, maybe that was the upset for today. I think the opposite would work here, where if Purdue wins, you're like, okay, this day's not just going to be two favorites winning, right?
Surely not. Right? Yeah.
I hadn't considered that, but
I mean,
the feel in the arena means something, man.
It does.
It does. Well, and also it's like lightning's not going to strike twice. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's
Right.
like if Texas goes out there and whips Purdue, it's like, well, what is this going to be? Just 11 versus 4 in the Elite Eight?
But imagine how electric it'll be, again, as we talked about. If Arkansas wins and Texas wins, like Arkansas and Texas in the Elite Eight is going up against each other. It'll be once again very intense if that ends up happening. But you got to get past Arizona first. You got to make that happen. So let's see. Also, Kingsley says, I remember the feeling the same way in '94 that I do now, cautiously optimistic. Even as a kid, I felt the world was against us, not guaranteeing a win, but we just know that it has happened before and it's been just like this.
Sure.
So, yeah, it's
Absolutely, man.
Absolutely. The underdog role is a good one for Arkansas to play.
Well, it's one they haven't
love
been
it.
able to play for what, a month now?
Yeah, truly.
I mean, it's crazy how, and it's not Arkansas's fault. You can only play who's in front of you, and the way the tournaments, the brackets shake out and everything. But they've had that target very squarely on their back now. It's like 7 or 8 games in a row. So I
have a breaking news to announce.
So,
An 11 and a 4 seed have never met in the Elite Eight in the NCAA men's basketball tournament.
until now.
We'll see. But isn't that weird? Because I was kind of thinking about it. I'm like, I bet that doesn't happen much. What a weird combination to just never happen.
It's kind of a hodgepodge. There's a lot of that stuff. 6 seeds never won the title. It's just like they're the only top 8 seed that never has. But it's pretty chaos and pretty crazy. But right now, Purdue and Texas are knotted at 12 here early in the part of this game. So man, that's a beautiful looking court though. I will give them credit. That's a good looking court with the logos and everything.
Dude, I can't wait to get out there. There's something different about once you're in the arena and you can kind of feel the energy of it. And, it's not going to be like a crazy atmosphere in terms of like what we feel inside of a home game, but just kind of seeing the vibes, seeing the players, kind of thinking what's going on in their brains and seeing their body language. I cannot wait for that.
Yeah.
It's like it's the longest 30 minutes to an hour of your life.
light crowd at the SAP.
Texas not show out. Purdue didn't show out. What gives? Pretty messed up, man.
We've been seeing
Mark.
every now and then seeing some Purdue fans out here.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. In fact, they've had every one of the alumni events happen here at the San Pedro Square. Each bar you go to, one of the 4 teams are represented here. So appreciate the super chat from Girthy Hog.
Is Girthy Hog the guy that did that TikTok that one time?
I believe so. Yes.
Love
yes.
Girthy
Yeah,
Hog.
he's it's a great name and everything. He says 9:45 Eastern tip hurts. And though Arizona may have length, Arkansas has got the girth. Hashtag ours is bigger. Hashtag big old pigs. Hashtag Pig Night Express. Hashtag Showtime Porkers. Hashtag
Pig Night Express.
Get pork nerd.
What's funny about this is I think Arkansas might have equal length, but not the girth.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like outside of Krivas, Arkansas is actually longer than most of
But
their
do you know
guys.
what pigs have? Bigger balls.
They
It's true.
do.
It's true. And they're not afraid to get dirty about it either.
Yeah, we aren't scared of the mud. We haven't been avoiding losses all year long,
That's right. That's right.
Cowards.
You're doing some masterful work, by the way, today. I like the whole, listen, Arkansas's gotten their ass kicked before. That gives them an advantage here because they know how to
Listen,
handle
we've
it.
tasted our own blood. There is a very real aspect of that. Of the boxer who likes to stay on the outside hadn't had his nose broken before,
Well, isn't there always something about it with hey, teams are due for a letdown type of thing? You got to be due for a letdown. I don't know if Arizona, is losing 2 games, one of them being 3 points, and the other one 4 points to Kansas and Texas Tech. Are those letdowns? I don't think it is, man.
Yeah,
Especially because they beat those other teams after it. So it's like they probably go into this being like, we're unbeatable.
Yeah.
Well, maybe because remember they were one of the last undefeated teams in the country. I think it was them and Miami of Ohio wound up being the last
Michigan
2.
went pretty a while too, right?
Michigan definitely lost before Arizona, but people were talking. Maybe the pressure got to them a little bit.
It's very possible.
It's too much for them, and they took a couple L's there. Maybe the pressure's getting to them again.
Who's to say?
Yeah.
I also think it had something to do with key player being out in those 2 losses, but it's semantics.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
That's right. Shout out to Jaded Sports Fans. Appreciate Super Chat. Goes, how are the rims? How'd the Hogs shoot at practice?
I'd love to tell you we were only in there for 15 minutes of the hour and 45-minute practice. So in the 15-minute segment I watched, they shot it okay. Arizona, I know, did not shoot it well in there. I mean, but again, 15 minutes.
That was a brick fest for Arizona in there. Legitimately, not even talking trash.
Krivas was about 50-50 on jump hooks in the 5 minutes I watched him.
Yeah. He made more threes than he did jump hooks, honestly. Acuff and Leak shot it really well. Yep.
That's all right. Yeah.
I mean,
as
being honest.
Yeah, as long as your shooters are shooting well.
Yeah, Trevin got it going a little bit late. He looked like his he needed to stretch his
the
arms.
wrong side of the court.
I don't know if Billy made a jump shot while we were in there the other day.
Maybe not. But
don't need
boy,
him to.
Malik Thomas was encouraging him, though.
He was, and Acuff and Malik made enough for everybody. So
that's right. Hey, listen, we got an Arizona fan in our chat. It says it's going to be a tough game, Arizona. March Madness, anything can happen tonight.
We've had obviously our fair share of trolls pop in, but we've had some respectable, normal Arizona fans who seem to just be, people supporting their team and consuming content, which as much as we do kind of make fun of people for being like, oh, you're Indian Arkansas chat and you're a whatever fan, that tells you how dialed in they are, that they're watching Arkansas streams.
I listened to some Arizona stuff when I was out on a run this morning. I like to get it from the other perspective. So I like it when those folks come in. And, I even like a little bit of banter. It's, some people get a little wound up, take it too far. But
some people come to these podcasts specifically to troll.
Sure.
Those are the weirdos. The ones that are just like, hey, I just want to get a feel for what you guys think. That's cool. You're normal.
How are the Arizona people feeling? Like, did you get a vibe on them?
Feel like they should win, but that they understand who Darius Acuff is and that they never win this game.
That's fair. What I like to hear.
So, I mean, it's they respect the pig.
Yeah.
It's also the same thing where they're doing Acuff might do this and that, but we should dominate on the interior, which that's a fair conclusion to come to.
Yeah.
How many games has Arkansas won this year where they've allowed 35-plus paint points? I feel like 10.
All of them?
I would say it's been a lot of games where they've gotten
a
lot of people score inside on them, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah. All right, a few more here, too. Shout out to Bo Subtly says, for Super Chat, says, we need the Alabama game offense tonight.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I would like the Alabama game Malik Thomas. Everyone remembers the 49 points that Acuff scored for good reason. Malik Thomas was dominant in stretches of that game. If you get that version of him, Acuff is going to be, what the worst case scenario for Acuff is he has like 23 and 7 on, on 17 shots or something like that. But you get Malik Thomas, that version of him, Arkansas is dangerous.
Sneaky X factor in this game is DJ Wagner. I know we talked about it a little bit at breakfast this morning, but you're going to need to hit some threes, and you feel good about Acuff and Malik Thomas being able to do that. Hopefully Trevin is on and he hits a couple like he typically does here down the stretch. But DJ Wagner really strikes me as that guy that he could be the difference in Arkansas hitting, 9 threes, which is about what you average, and 12, which might be able to overcome some of the, if you're giving up a deficit in the paint or on the boards or whatever, they're not going to guard him. And so for whatever reason that, teams they're going to help off. They're going to try to, flood Darius Acuff in the paint, and they won't do it off of Malik Thomas. But if he goes to DJ's side, they will bring help and they will give up that open corner 3 from DJ Wagner. Step up and knock it down. We remember what he did in that Vanderbilt game. That changed the complete trajectory of things for Arkansas. If he knocks down 2 or 3 threes, you feel so much better about your chances, man.
Yep. So basically just be 3J Wagner, man.
It's 3J season.
Be 3J Wagner.
Him and Trevin are going to have unlimited wide open threes if they so choose.
Yeah.
Billy as well, but
Yeah, listen,
don't tell him that.
Yeah, that's anybody. I don't care who it is. Just when you got a wide open look and it's a good look, take it, fire away, and make it. I don't care if you're DJ Wagner. I don't care if I'm Malik Ewan. My goodness, that guy shows he can hit some threes. So
you're being
not?
For real, honestly.
Yeah, like really go out there. Okay, just a few more here, then we'll get to our final predictions heading into this. But let's see. Also, another different Arizona fan, Tony says, when I saw Arkansas on our bracket, I've been worried for this game, which is fair.
Yeah, no, if I was, if Arkansas was in Arizona's shoes as a 1 seed, and then you see, okay, well, we should be able to pretty comfortably get through the first 2 rounds. It's the Sweet 16 where you're going to face a top 20 caliber team, and if you see one that has a consensus first team All-American and an SEC Player of the Year and a guy who's scored 49 in a game, I would probably be like, well, hell, this kind of sucks.
Among the 4 or 5 seeds that you could have faced. You could have faced Nebraska, who's in the Sweet 16. They may advance. That would have been Arizona would have signed up for that. They would have signed up for Vanderbilt. They would have signed up for probably Alabama, who's losing their starting shooting guard. There's a lot of teams you would have rather faced than Arkansas if you're Arizona.
Yep. Super chat for Arkansas. Appreciate it, man. It says need the Hogs to either be leading or within 7 at the under 8 timeout, and I'll feel extremely confident.
And
So
get the game into deep waters.
Yep.
The further along we get and the closer it is, Arizona's on lemon booty watch.
Yes, they are. Also, super chat from Phil Frame says, should Arkansas play zone and pack the paint?
Nope.
It's tough to go into the biggest game of the year and say, hey, you know what we're going to do to win this? Something we've never done all year.
Yeah. Would that be a decent strategy overall? Probably. I mean, they're very good at a variety of things, but yeah, I mean, Arkansas is not going to change what they're doing. I hope that they are aggressive enough to where they can turn them over some and help fuel that transition break. I know Arizona struggled with turnovers against Utah State, but they've got to bring some help into the post. They have to, man.
Force these guys to shoot.
It's one thing on Pete, and he's good, he's strong, and maybe he takes it to Trevin, but right away I'm okay with letting Trevin try to use his height and length advantage to alter some shots there. But when they throw it into the big 7-2 fella, you got to bring some help down. He's just going to score on those guys. I wouldn't say it will, but he'll overpower them.
All right, our last chat here before we get to our final predictions. I like this from Janine. It says, I cried in 1994 in Japan when we won. Was in the Navy, called my mom to send me a T-shirt. That's how you know it was a long time ago. They were talking about call and collect, and doing all that. What was it? 10-10-3-2-1 or whatever it was back in the day.
As you guys know, I respect the art of being able to tell me exactly where you were and what you were doing when a sporting event happened. That's my favorite game.
Yeah, there you go. So, all right, we'll get to our final predictions. And before we do, though, we're on a final reminder that, hey, BetSaracen's Arkansas's #1 sports betting app. And if you want to get in on the action with Arkansas, and if you're thinking the Pig is going to win big tonight and cover that 8.5-point spread, we better get over to BetSaracen. You can scan that QR code right there on your screen, or you can click the link below and download the app. And when you do, use promo code INSIDEAR250. That's INSIDEAR250, because when you bet $25, you get $250 for free. So if you think the Hogs are going to take care of business, well, put your money where your mouth is. Do it, BetSaracen. Get some free money and win big with BetSaracen. It's Arkansas's #1 sports betting app, as well as the official title sponsor of our coverage here in the NCAA tournament. It is BetSaracen. So, guys, before we roll out of here and get ready to head over to the SAP Center for the Sweet 16 matchup of Arkansas and Arizona, what are our final predictions?
Arkansas wins.
Love it.
94-88.
Love it even more.
I'm sticking to my guns from yesterday. It's going to be a tall task, man. But at the end of the day, it comes down to me. I'm having a hard time coming to any kind of terms with this being the last stand for Darius Acuff. And it's not a one-man show. That's not to take anything away from Malik Thomas or Trevin or Billy. All those guys are going to be so important in this basketball game. But with the type of season that Darius Acuff has had, all the accolades, all the hype, proven a lot of doubters wrong, he's been doing all those things. This would be the moment to catapult it to an entirely different level. I just feel like that chapter of the story hasn't been written yet. So I'm riding with Darius Acuff, man. I'm saying the Razorbacks get this one done.
Does anybody know off the top of their head the over-under for total points, about where that was set at?
I think it was like 167.5 or 164.5.
So Vegas is fully prepared for like an 88, 88, 86
165.
type of game.
Yep, there you go.
Give me the under in this matchup. Arkansas 85, Arizona 82. I am changing what I did yesterday.
I respect your decision.
Yes.
New day. I'm allowed to change my mind.
Game day vibes.
I've sat on it. I've thought about it. I don't want this thing to end either. Nobody wants this thing to end. I think we are really looking at a coin flip game. I said that yesterday when I picked Arizona. I'm saying it today as I pick Arkansas. That's what I think. I think this game is going to be extremely close, extremely competitive for all 40 minutes. And when you get to the Final Four, I think Arkansas is going to have a little bit more left in the tank. I think they're going to break them.
Well, here's the thing: is I've thought long and hard about this, and this is a game that's going to give me anxiety, cramps, like I'm going to give birth in the middle of this. Like, there's just going to be a lot of pain happening in my stomach of everything that's going to happen and transpire in this game. However, I think the Razorbacks are going to win, and I think the Razorbacks are going to win on a buzzer beater from Darius Acuff from 3 points out by a final score of 93-90.
Stop it.
I think it's going to happen. It's a back and forth game. It's high flying. I think Arizona hits a shot to tie the game with about 11 seconds left, and then they just give the ball to Acuff and say, hey, man, go show everybody why you're the best dadgum player here in college basketball. And he's going to do his little hezzy, dribble around, pull up three, right in his eye. And the Arkansas Razorbacks are moving on to the Elite Eight.
I want the records to show that if Texas winds up beating Purdue, my prediction flips all of a sudden. I'm sticking to my guns on that.
Okay.
That theory.
Well, there you go. There you go. Real quick, got super chat before we go. It says the Heartbroken Hawks says final seconds. Acuff runs up the floor at the ball, gets doubled, throws the ball up for a game-winning alley-oop to Ewan, getting his redemption for the Alabama game, 92-91. Hogs woo damn thing.
I respect that.
Yes, I'll love.
He wouldn't miss this time.
No,
Not a
he ain't
chance.
having it. He learned his lesson. He ain't having it. So, well, fellas, that's it for us here. Really appreciate everybody tuning in. Really appreciate everybody hanging out with us all tournament long, and hopefully we can continue to do this here in San Jose. Appreciate San Jose and San Pedro Social here for allowing us to do the show. As a reminder, Pot at the Palace post-game show will be around after the game, depending on, time and everything. Have patience
give us
with
a minute.
everybody because we're going to have some stuff going on. And if it ends up being like the prediction I have, it's going to be chaos. So, but hopefully it ends up happening.
Certainly not leaving
It'll take
early.
us about 10 minutes to get over here and about 10 minutes to set up.
There you go. So, so just be patient with us. But the show will go on. Pot at the Palace post-game show will go on. And hopefully it's a really happy Pot at the Palace post-game show as the Arkansas Razorbacks take on the Arizona Wildcats for a chance to go on to the Elite Eight. That'll do it for us today. For Andrew Ellis, Curtis Wilkerson, intern Cameron, I'm John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel tomorrow at noon. Have a great rest of your night, everybody, and we'll see you live for Pot at the Palace post-game show presented by Bet Saracen following the Arkansas Razorbacks game against Arizona tonight.